WTMP HD, Egypt Lake, Tampa, and now on 102.1 in Pinellas County. WTMP HD, Egypt Lake, Tampa, and now on 102.1 in Pinellas County.
Alrighty. Tampa Bay, it's that time again. Your favorite radio program is about to come on. We're going to do what we do every week. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I had, I told them every show, that I remember, we have to tell the people the rules of the show that, we're not trying to be politically correct. We're not going to say stuff that everybody else is saying, and we intentionally say ain't, and we intentionally say black and white, and because it's more important to us to communicate to people than it is to be politically correct. So that's not our stick. That's somebody else's stick. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna tell you some of the stuff you may have already heard, but I will guarantee you ain't heard it the way we're gonna say it.
We got some good stuff, Eddie.
Because there's so much stuff out there for us to talk about. We got a black Supreme Court justice. I know everybody want me to talk about that. I'm not gonna talk about that this week. I'm talking about some other stuff. We got a black female city council person that's waiting to be elected somewhere. Selected, I should say, selected. And I'm gonna demand that it be a black female. I mean, I figure if Biden can do it, hell, I could do it. I mean, we got about the same amount of pools, so I can make it happen here. So we're gonna do that too. So for those who have not heard this show before, this is a test. We may flunk your test because all of the things that you've been told and all the stuff you hear on the major media, probably are wrong and bad for our community. Ooh. So if it's bad for the black community, you're not gonna hear here. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you about all the politicking that's going on, and that there's a way to get a black female city council member, but it's got to go through the rules of politics. There's a rule, and there's knowing the rules, and there's knowing how to play the game. So people who know how to play the game are usually better at it than those who don't. And it's important that we as a community learn so that in the future we can do some stuff that everybody keep telling us we can't do.
And don't be ignorant.
So if you want to call in today, the call-in number for Porch Talk Radio is 888-247-8712. 888-247-8712. If you want to call me personally, Eddie Adams Jr., on my cell phone number is 813-12. Call me after the show. If you call me during the show, that's because you want to talk on the radio today. All right? And if you want to email me, email me, Eddie, porchtalkradio.com. And Facebook Live, we see you guys. We're actually getting better at Facebook Live. We're getting more and more folks. And my sister actually said that she actually watches the show on Facebook Live because she can't get because she can't regularly get the show out of the area. But we got people in California and Kansas City, and we even got international folks who hear Porch Talk Radio. So we're growing. Them 13 years ain't been wasted.
That's true. We are growing.
that we've been doing this, and so we're gonna get started.
Growing, Eddie.
And we're gonna tell you, some things that's going on, and then I'm gonna introduce to you. We got a guest today, and we're gonna do like we normally do, because we talk about stuff. We give you information, and we don't have a script in front of us that I have an agenda, but we don't have a script that say this is what you say here, and this is not like a play. Like a lot of the other plays, everybody got stuff they're supposed to say. We ain't got stuff we're supposed to say. We just saying stuff that's important to you. And if it ain't important to you, it should be, because this is how you make a difference in your community. And this community needs a difference to be made by some damn body. Preferably you. because for a long time, folks really don't understand. Black folks don't understand that our problem is us.
Oh.
We keep looking outside of our community, and we think all the problems is us, and the solution is us. We are the solution to our problem.
Eddie, that's not PC, brother.
It's all here.
We got to get the government to help us.
It's all
The
here.
government gonna give us a check.
So all we got to do is
Hey.
get through the part of it where we are our own worst enemy, our own worst problem, and get to solving our own problem and not looking outside for somebody else to come in and do it, because that's how you became slaves in the first place.
Ooh.
And that's why some of you are still slaves.
Eddie, wrong
And,
road.
and you may not have the shackles on your legs,
but
they are on your brain,
Ooh.
which is even worse. I'll say shackles around your neck. That's how they control.
Oh my goodness! Oh
All
my
right.
goodness!
So sitting here with me today is a good friend of the show. Been a good friend of mine for a long time. From the day we first met, we've been friends. And this is a black conservative pastor. Now I didn't say preacher.
Well, them Jesus people.
Because some people, you got to understand the difference between, because my grandfather was a Baptist preacher. He was called. He didn't go to the seminary and he didn't learn it that kind of way.
He didn't go to cemetery school?
When he was young,
Woo.
he was a drunk. He was a womanizer. He did all that stuff. But one day he got called.
Found Jesus.
He found Jesus.
Woo.
Jesus found him, or
Something.
whatever they met. And then,
boom.
and the next thing I know, he changed everybody around. He changed everybody
But he started with
around,
himself.
around him. But Jesus changed him. So,
Mm.
Pastor Alfred Johnson, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Get close to the
Thank
mic.
you. Thank you very
Get
much.
close to the mic, and tell us what you're doing, and then we'll do what we normally do. We just talk about the community, how we make things better, and make sure that folks know that we got hope.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Alfred Johnson here. Hey, listen, I'm with the Faith Action Ministry Alliance. You can reach us there at FAMalliance.org. That's F as in Frank, FAMalliance.org. And you want to look us up. Hey, listen, we are doing some exciting things over in that East Tampa area, especially in Grant Park. And Eddie, I agree with you. Everything you just said at the introduction here, absolutely, I 100% agree. That we as a people, we have to take the initiative and seize the opportunity to help ourselves out. My experience here in doing community outreach, and we do it in a different way. There's like 3 different kinds of outreach that I have seen, maybe 4. One is just straight up preaching, but in terms of social kind of activities, it's, one is the, like a triage model. There's a war going on in our community. Something's going on out there, and it's turning out hurting people, broken people.
Yes.
And a lot of those people end up at Metropolitan Ministries, the Salvation Army, the mental health centers, maybe whatsoever. But in those kind of institutions, they handle those who've been damaged real badly, don't you know?
Yeah.
But they have to leave that place after a while, and they're not going to end up going to some middle class neighborhood, right? They're going to end up going right back to the same system that put them in that place, right? And so that's a weakness of that system, even though those institutions are beautiful. The next one is like the benevolence model. This is where mostly, the rich white churches, they'll end up coming out to our neighborhoods, and they'll bring a clothing drive, a food drive, or something like that. And they'll do that for 2 or 3 hours. It's beautiful because they demonstrate the generosity.
They call those ministries, like like they go into the Congo or something when they come to the hood.
Oh, Eddie!
I'm just saying.
Oh my
I'm just
goodness!
saying.
You had to go there, Eddie.
Some of them have good intentions. I know exactly what you're saying, but some of them actually have good intentions. But there's a weakness to that. Once they're done giving away the products or giving away whatever they're giving away, they end up having to close camp after 2 or 3 hours, and they go home.
Right.
The community itself functions exactly
to their white community.
Yeah, exactly.
To their white hood.
That's the way it works. That's the way it
So
works.
it's like a booster shot.
There you go.
Like it's as effective as COVID booster shots.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that.
Wow.
Whoa.
You hit that one nicely. You hit that. You brought that in smoothly too. He brought that in smoothly right there. But what ends up happening is they do their service, and it's a good service, but when they leave, everything is the same, all right? Our people need people that understand how to work systemically. That is, work directly in the community,
Right.
entrench yourselves.
Right,
Those
right.
who know better,
Right.
entrench yourselves nicely in the institutions, Boys and Girls Club, sports, the local schools, and things of that sort. So that's what we did. Faith Action Ministry Alliance, we started a school right there in the Grant Park area. It's called Grant Park Christian Academy. The children that are under our auspices, they get some serious classroom management, the conservative content of what we speak, the expectations of excellence that's upon these students. We're watching their lives be transformed before our very eyes. And so I'm looking for people who are listening to me right now on the radio. Get in contact with us on our webpage. Come and visit our school and see if I'm exaggerating.
What's the phone number to you guys?
773-3262. 773-3262.
And that webpage.
That's 813-773-3262. And again, our webpage, FAMalliance.org. And on that webpage, you can find out when all of our events are. Just go to the events tab. And you can also volunteer. By the way, volunteers are needed in this big kind of outreach. When you're focusing on a whole neighborhood, when you're doing intelligent philanthropy on a neighborhood scale, you need to have the volunteers. You need to have the volunteers. So if you want to volunteer, if you want to dig in, not just some kind of haphazard kind of outreach or service to the community, but no, you're wanting to dig in. You're wanting to be regularly involved. You're wanting to plug into institutional things, as well as home to home, house to house. Well, then you're going to want to get with us. Faith Action Ministry Alliance, again, FAMalliance.org, or reach us by phone, 813-773-3262. But it's that kind of systemic outreach that's necessary for our people.
Well, the thing that's important, and one of the things that's impressed me, is that I just left Tea and Conversation, which is a community talk. Folks get together, talk and hash out, how do we make some stuff happen, and the Black Business Bus Tour and all this kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we got to have some marks. See, we don't get enough marks. We talk a lot as a community, as a whole. We talk a lot, but at the end of the day, if somebody is keeping score, what is going to be done? Can I say, now, like I told them this morning, I said, well, when we had that statue in front of the county courthouse, well, we got together, got about 250 folks, and went down there to a meeting, and next thing you know, it was done. It was gone. They had to find another home for it. And I told them about University Square Mall, where that road from the university all the way up to Bears hadn't been completed, and 300 and some white folks, old white folks from University Village, we went downtown to the county commission meeting, and next thing you know, they found $9 million to complete that road.
It's a miracle.
So we got, sometimes you got to do more than just talk. You got to actually get some stuff done. Then you got to mark that okay, I did something, we did something, now it's done. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's get another mark. And not just talk about it, we talk about it all the time. We know we are our own worst enemy.
Yes.
Okay, now what we gonna do about that? Everybody keep talking, well, it takes a village, Okay, a little 9-year-old girl got shot the other day at a basketball court. Who's gonna take credit for that? A 15-year-old black male kid went home, got a gun, came back, gonna shoot somebody because he was in a fight. That stuff stops at home. When I was a kid, nobody who was a child had a gun. Well, let me say it like this. They all had guns. We all had guns because we used to hunt. I'm from Lake Wales. We all had guns. But we never thought about taking a gun and go shoot somebody with it. We had fights. I hate to say it. We had fist fights.
But that would affect
You
it.
make a home bloody, with beat up. But ain't nobody shoot you because they got mad at you on the playground. That's a mentality that's coming from within. My mama had 5 kids. She raised 5 kids. She was never home. So either she gave it to us that little time she spent with us and it stayed, or it didn't. These kids are never getting it. They're not getting it at home. They're not.
No, you're exactly right.
And that's a problem in our community. Ain't no white man or woman gonna come in our community and teach our kids not to shoot each other. It ain't gonna happen.
Wow. Wow. No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Now, what we need now is leadership that functions like fathers, if you will,
Right.
in the black community.
Right.
And what's happening is our pastors are being trained in theology, but they're not being trained to be community leaders.
Right.
Very rare, as I'm working on the street, do I see pastors that are actually on the street.
So they're trained to be pastors. They're not just trained, but they're not being trained to be useful pastors.
Exactly. Now, you
yeah,
are
there we go.
exactly right. So
We got
everything
it.
within the four walls, we're trained at, and we're trained at proficiently. But in terms of getting out into the community and systematically working it and organizing teams and making sure that your leadership is dispersed and has certain areas of the community assigned to them to serve them personally. If that's not happening, then pastoring is not being done correctly. We need more pastor community organizers out there to get down to business.
And that's one of the things that I tell folks all the time. You know, you hear this all the time. You never talk in polite company about politics, and you don't talk about religion.
Why? That's
And
what
you-
affects us.
I never got it. Why in companies do you not talk about politics? Everything is political.
Yeah.
And why in the hell you stop talking about it? Religion. You're supposed to be talking about religion as much as
Share
you
your
can,
faith. Share
as
the
much as you
gospel.
can. You know.
People get offended, Eddie.
But that's why I'm saying we don't care about you being offended. We're telling you stuff you need to know. You need to be talking about religion, because there's some good, no matter what religion is. I'm not picking and choosing your religion, but as a whole idea, religion is pretty much good things happening to good people because they're doing good work. That's my whole, it don't matter which one it is. The basics is good. They ain't telling you to go shoot nobody and kill nobody because they hurt your feelings. That's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
But the media doesn't agree with that, Eddie.
No, the media is stupid.
And that'd be one thing, but it happens to be that our people should be disagreeing. Our people themselves should be disagreeing with that. You know, I went to a community meeting recently, and we mentioned the solution, just like you just said, the individual initiative, the community member taking the responsibility of building itself. And one of the speakers there said, you know what, we will do that once the white folks address the issue of racism. Once they address that issue correctly, then we can then address ours. I'm sitting there thinking, if a father thinks that way, what kind of children would we be grooming if we waited to teach them manhood and responsibility until somebody else did something?
But Eddie touched on that we have to wait on somebody else to do something for us because we feel that's the way it should be. And the bottom line, they ain't doing shit because they've never done it. Why should they? Because the system is working from their perspective. So like Eddie said, if you don't say, hey, we got to do something to help each other now, as opposed to waiting for somebody, because Eddie knows as soon as somebody says, well, I'm going to help you, I'm the government, they're going to take something.
Well,
Ain't nothing free.
Those are deadly words
Ooh.
to our community. I'm from the government and I'm here to help you.
Oh, my.
Somebody's getting ready to die.
Run.
Somebody's getting ready to die. You don't know who, but just watch. That's why and that's the game I used to play. When politics is a game. It's got rules, it's got regulation, and some people are better at it than others. And as a community, black folks, we are terrible at politics. We're terrible. Now, I went to the city council meeting the other day, and I knew what happened before I got there because I understand politics. I had 2 city council members tell me they weren't going to vote for the new chief of police. They weren't going to do it.
It wasn't going to happen.
And then I was at the meeting the other day, and the vote came up.
Oh.
And guess what?
Oh.
Some of the first ones to say yes was the ones who definitely told me no. But I understand politics because when they said no, then evidently other people heard them say no, and then the machine that politics is ran by, campaign, came to them, understood what their needs and their wants are.
The dollar bills.
I ain't saying dollar bill. I'm just
Follow
saying
the Benjamins.
the nature of the politics is it came to them and they said, okay, well, I need your vote for the chief of police. What is it that you need?
What you want?
And some agreement happened, and I could tell that the system worked because even though they voted yes for the new chief of police, they didn't go to the ceremony for her swearing in.
Really?
Now, some of them who was really for her showed up, but the ones who had no in their heart,
They lied?
They didn't even show up for the ceremony.
Wow.
We got to call a caller. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Porch Talk, how you doing? Rev Coffee here.
Hey,
How
so?
y'all doing today?
All right, we're doing good, sir.
I heard what you said, and I agree for the self. Well, you know, Malcolm X said that, a lot of people from way back said that. Dr. King said some of that. You know, but one thing, listen here, and I know that we can do it for ourselves. You know, black folk are $2 trillion consumer every year.
Yes.
Yeah, we can definitely do it for us. I don't hear too much of it on this, or no shows too much. If reparations is paid back in the right way, the way Johnny Cochran had it set up, paid back to black people because everybody else got it, we can catch up. You know, it's going to be pretty hard to try and catch up economically because it's not. Look here, I forget about black and white. You know what I mean? Listen, it's going to always be a race problem in America. Economically, if we can get back on our feet, was 50, 60 years ago, we've got a chance to deal with what's going on right. We ain't gonna get no justice unless we get some money. And I know that, and everybody else ought to know that too. Tell me, talk to me what you think about it. Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good day.
God bless.
Thank you for your call. Now, I'm going to say that I understand what he's saying because we have been taught all of our lives that money solves all your problems. But I'm going to give you some reality. Black community, this is a reality check. I see black people winning the lottery, winning millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars in just 4 or 5 years. They're in more debt than they never would have been in had they not got any money. Reparation ain't gonna solve your problem. See, that's back to looking for somebody else to solve your problems. Your problems that are within your community, it ain't enough money. The federal government has paid trillions of dollars since 1972 on poverty. They call it the war on poverty. Where the hell the money went? Because I don't know. $1 trillion is a lot of money.
Poof.
It's a lot of money, but nobody has benefited. Nobody that I know. No community that I know has benefited from the war on poverty. That I'm just saying. I'm making a statement. If you know, call in and say the war on poverty paid XYZ. They even paid my rent. They paid my light bill. I bought a new car. Whatever you did with the money from the war on poverty. It is just a statement that makes a whole bunch of white folks feel good. We spent a lot of money on y'all, and y'all still where you were.
Now, Eddie, I think you touched on a point there saying that money's been provided, and yet, Pastor, don't we have more of an issue with a lifestyle as opposed to just a temporary booster shot? Because if people got a lifestyle going on, that's different. It doesn't matter how much $5 you throw at them, it ain't solving or changing the lifestyle.
No, you're exactly right. Now, here's what they end up doing. They end up taking the lump sum mass of the black community, and then they compare our numbers versus the other races. But I tell you this, if you were to separate out the couple, a married husband and wife with their biological children, separate them from the single parent style that we've adapted to and adopted almost wholesale. Now compare the numbers. The graduation rate of couples, children, black couples, biological parents, their children graduate at a rate that's much higher than the single parent white child.
You're not talking PC now. You ain't supposed to be talking about that.
Now, isn't that just sad?
That's offensive to some.
The criminal, their involvement in the criminal justice system is highly diminished when there's a biological father and mother.
What's a fix today, right now? What's a fix today to begin to change some of these effects? We've been talking about it. What is it something that can be done to change today what's happening now?
Well, I'm going to jump here, and I know we got a caller, and I get to him when we get through with this conversation. But back in the 50s and the 60s, and I was telling somebody this yesterday, if a girl in school got pregnant, I hate to say it, she went away, and when she came back, she had a cousin. That cousin was with her. Today, a girl get pregnant in school, and everybody rallies around. And then she got 4 other friends who, we're going to get pregnant. We're going to have our children together.
In the same school.
They're going to be raised together and all that kind of stuff.
The
concept of it has changed so that the morality involved in this whole thing
Eddie.
has got kicked to the curb.
Uh-oh.
It's now a popular thing. Now it's popular for us to all have babies. And so we all gonna have babies and we're gonna raise them together. Not thinking about all the financial consequences and what go with them. So what end up happening is the grandma ends up raising the kids, and then there's no negative status to go with it anymore. Well, she can't feel. We can't make her feel bad. So she has 5 kids, no husband, and they all now living on welfare. That's a lifestyle. That's a cultural thing that has to be changed within our community. Ain't nobody gonna come in our community and change that.
Absolutely. Eddie, do you know, again, I pastored for 18 years. Do you know the last verse of the Old Testament? The very last verse says this: I am going to send my servant Elijah before you. He's going to restore the hearts of the fathers back to their children and the children to their fathers, or else I will strike the earth with a curse. Literally, that's the last verse. This is God saying that unless the fathers get back in the picture in a big way, I'm talking about a big way, we can expect to see these various curses that we see happening economically in terms of criminal justice. Yes, the high school dropout rate, undesirable pregnancies, the various sexually transmitted diseases, all kinds of stuff. We're going to continue to see those things proliferate unless the fathers properly, biblically, re-engage their families.
And I'm going to tell you, community, I have heard, and I've been doing this for 13 years, and people keep asking me and telling me, that the black pastors, aren't conservative. I'm telling you, we got one here today. And that's why he's here, because, black pastors are the leaders within our community.
Yeah. We
make sure, and everywhere I go, I don't leave out the fact that many of our civil rights leaders back in the 50s and 60s were from the community and they were pastors. Don't forget that. Nowadays it's hard to find good pastors, and I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But we got one here with us today. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Eddie, I'm calling you back. I didn't want you to misunderstand what I said about the reparations, because blacks do need that reparation. And I understand what that pastor's saying. Listen here, I don't agree with abortion, same-sex marriage, and all that. That's right. There are millions of black people are conservative. All blacks are not voting Democrat nor Republican. They're voting independent. They vote for something right and something that's not wrong. I am not saying that. Listen here, we all know more. A lot of us know what's morally right and wrong. That's right. But let me tell you something. Like I told a lady the other day, hey, Republican women get abortions too, just as many as black folk. So that's not an issue. But the situation here is that, listen here, all black folk, because 10% of black folk in America doing the wrong thing, that don't mean that other 80% is doing that. That's where we have been judged wrongly. Right. Now let that pastor deal with that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, what you're going to want to do is just flat out look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. When you consider the results. Okay.
No, go ahead.
The results of a single parent household. Look at it as it concerns our involvement in the criminal justice system. Look at that as it concerns our high school dropout rate. Look at that and concerns the runaways and our involvement in state institutions. You're going to find out that large segment of our population, and you do know there's about 70% of our population that is headed by the single parent household. Those things proliferate within that context. There's no doubt about it, and statistics are strong in that area.
And another thing that a lot of folks don't understand, the reason they put all the poor folks in the same neighborhood is so you pretty much get to victimize your own people, because your grandmama and your great grandmama, the people breaking in on her are your kids. You ain't taught your 17-year-old, your 16-year-old, your 14-year-old male kid not to take advantage of this old black lady down the street. The white guy from South Tampa ain't coming to your hood to break in, beat up, and steal from your grandparents. Them's your kids. You got to stop that. Okay, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Hello, yes. It's Gino the Seminole calling back. Good conversation. Now, one thing about it is that there's nothing new under the sun. Like you said, back in the 50s, a girl got pregnant. She went away and came back with a cousin. she still got pregnant. And they still was getting pregnant in the 50s, and they was just getting pregnant just as much as today. The only thing that said was true about that is, yes, the morality has changed about it. And the girl got pregnant today, and then her friends got pregnant, but the same thing happened in the 50s. The same thing happened. You just can't go away and say you got to come back.
But not in the same numbers.
No.
Not in the same numbers. That's the cultural part. You missed the point.
How many women was there in Tampa in the 50s? How many women in
Look it up.
2020 in the 50s? The number
Google.
is the same.
Google it. I ain't falling for it.
Let
He's given his phone before. I don't fall for it.
Let me say something to you, and you can agree or not agree. Back in the 50s and the 60s, the number of complete household with a mother and a father
Black.
and kids, black, in the same household,
High.
that number has reduced over the years.
Dramatically.
Because back then, 50 or 60% of the households were complete household.
Mm-hmm.
Now that number is 20-some%, where you got a black mother, black father, and black kids. The crime rates within the community has went up.
Oof.
A lot of other things that have negative results to our community have went up. And you cannot tell me having a whole family is more responsible than having a family with 5 kids and 1 mother. That does not work. I don't care when.
Right. Now that's true. I'll give you that. Yes. Now also too, with that same issue right there, is that when you take the man out of the house, it does do something. Now, believe it or not, that was a trend that started slightly after slavery. It started to increase that the men were starting to go and be awarded to the state, but that was by issues with the law.
It had to do with the government and welfare.
Yeah.
Welfare said if you was a black male in a household, that household couldn't get government benefits. Now the Hispanics, it didn't affect. Black families, they didn't want the black male in the household, so guess what? The reward and punishment. So they figured that the families now, you get more kids, you get more payment from the government, and the government stepped in and took the place of the father. That's how that happened.
To a certain degree, sure. To a certain degree, that's one of the issues. You can't say that wholly is
Yeah, we
the
can.
issue of-
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Look at the
definitely can say
numbers.
that.
Google it.
Look at the numbers.
Appreciate you calling, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Okay.
Woo, lost, dazed, and confused.
Well, see, part of it is I could tell by his conversation. That's a young man. You know,
You just don't know.
he only understands life from his beginning to now. You know, being older, seeing a different time.
Seeing the patterns, eh?
Literally seeing the black community in a different culture. Because
Big
it
time.
was different for my mom and my grandma than it was for me. I get to see their generation. I get to see our generation. And now I get to see my daughters and my granddaughters' generation. And it has changed. The morals have changed. Not having a black man in your house changes things. When my daughter walked out and got ready to go to school, and if she was dressed inappropriately, guess what? She didn't go. She went back and changed clothes. Nowadays, many mothers, not saying bad things about the mother, are trying to relive their childhood through their children.
That's terrible.
And they may not see anything wrong with it. Whereas a man say, that woman could not live in my house. And that becomes the law of that house. As opposed to nowadays, everybody in the house trying to be buddies and friends and pals, and there's no morality, you know, because I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just telling you what's out there. Just look, you know, because if I can see it, you can see it. You know, that a lot of these young girls who go to school thinking they looking good are not looking good. They looking slutty, and that's meant to say what it is. Because they're not trying to get educated, they're trying to get romanced, and that's the difference.
You're right on target with that. And I remember my own daughter coming to want to leave with some little short shorts. I said, no, that ain't gonna work. She said, well, my friend, she wears short shorts Well, that's fine. She'll be a pregnant slut pretty quick then. You go back to your own butch other clothes. She'd come back mad with me, but that's fine. You know what? She made it to 18, went into college, almost got that college degree done. No pregnancy issues. She did what was right, and she's a better woman for it today as she's raising 3 kids, married, living in a nice home. But again, she stuck to it because I saw her friend got pregnant, by the way. Oops.
But morals shouldn't be taught.
At school?
Morals should not be taught at school. Morals should be taught at home.
Ooh.
And if you go to church, they should be taught at church.
Yeah.
But the place for school is to get educated on life and life principles, not how to interact beyond a certain point, because you should come to school, like my mama used to say, with manners. You get manners at home, not at school.
That's old school. She had a standard.
I'm
She had a
just saying.
standard. That's awesome.
You wanna?
Yes, and of course, the impact on the young man as well, not just the daughter, the impact on the boys when their dad is in the home.
Right.
There is no doubt statistically, I don't see how this discussion is even, I don't see how this is even arguable.
Yeah.
Every statistic shows that if the father, the biological father, is in the home, the rate at which that boy child drops out of school or gets involved in the prison system or does anything like that, those numbers drop drastically.
Yes, they do.
When that father is in the home. And so if our communities are going to grow safer, we're going to be needing that black father to be in the home instructing good character to those young men. And I'm telling you, you could see a great turnaround. Furthermore, do you realize that if a young lady and a young man, if they didn't have a baby, they graduate from high school, don't get pregnant, get married before you get pregnant, for crying out loud. Both of you get a job, you're going to end up in the middle class in just about 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Why in the world do we imagine that we can't fix this in short order? We can do it in short order with just the remedy I gave you. And what I just told you is statistically sound.
The school system is not teaching that, because the school system do what feels good.
Yes.
If it feels right, then we're going to teach you about men going to the women's bathroom because they identify as a woman this day, and the girls go to the guys' bathroom because they identify as men this day. That's why they ain't accomplishing, or not accomplishing, all their grades like they should. Thank you all for listening to Porch Talk Radio. We're on Facebook as well, live right now.
But they're too concerned about people feeling being hurt. I'm gonna tell you what my mama said. Your feelings don't mean nothing to me if you ain't doing what the hell I told you to do.
Ooh, yeah.
Not only are you gonna be crying, your feeling gonna be hurt, your ass gonna be hurt. That's what she said. My mama was a down-to-earth, straight old country woman from Lake Wales, Florida, working 2 jobs to support 5 kids, and guess what? She didn't have time to stay home to monitor you. You had to have something within you that told you, what was right and wrong. You had to feel what was right and wrong. You couldn't just do what the hell you wanted. You couldn't sit in the middle of the floor and pout like I see little kids doing. Matter of fact, I was in the store the other day. I hate to say it, but I was in Walmart, and this little kid was just sitting in the floor having a tantrum. I'm saying, boy, that my mom would have tore my butt up. She'd have whooped me right there and didn't give a crap who saw it, because I'm her child. At the end of the day, she feeds, she clothes, she took care of me, put a roof over my head, and if I had the nerve to embarrass her like that in public, she had the nerve to beat my butt right there.
Wow. Took care of business.
But it made a difference. You see what I'm saying? That's what's not happening now. Everybody's too concerned about being their child's friend as opposed to being their parent.
That's going to mess up their self-esteem, Eddie.
Wow. I tell you what, at our school, we have a school in East Tampa, Grant Park Christian Academy, and it's led by couples. So from the principal right to the kitchen worker, led by couples. And I'm telling you what it does to the culture of the school and how it affects the minds of our children. You have got to come and visit our school, Grant Park Christian Academy. Watch how these children pay attention during, let's just say, our chapel session. You'll be amazed. These kids are 4-year-old through middle school. It's really something to watch their focus,
Are they each given an iPad and they go into the service?
Are they given iPads?
Yeah, when they go into the service, they can entertain themselves.
Like
some of these other churches.
Well, now what do you mean? I mean, our
Sit there, play on their phone the whole
Yeah,
church.
yeah.
No.
Is that what y'all
That's
doing?
no. When you come into the classroom, the phones have to be put away. The teacher gathers the phones, put them in
So
a
in church,
box.
but in church, are the kids allowed to play with their phones?
Nowadays, the kids are allowed to play with their phones. That didn't happen when I was younger, of course.
But right now in your church, when y'all just hand the phones out or iPads when they walk in the door so they can entertain themselves?
No, that's not what happens. That's not what happens.
So that's what
Not
messes with
us.
self-esteem.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I'm telling you right now, folks, we have got to have this impact on our children. We have got to set the standard. By the way, Eddie, again, also not only in the school, but in the community as well. On April 9th, we're doing something. We have a community survey that we're doing over there in Grant Park. The survey, we actually go door to door to find out what the felt needs of the community are, and then I plug in qualified people to help these families. Every Saturday, we do a trades mentoring for young men and for young ladies between the ages of 12 and 19. Every Saturday, we get volunteers to help them learn light carpentry and light auto mechanics. This is a beautiful thing. Then on May 28th, we have a massive community cleanup and beautification. People want to get involved. Let's go ahead and plug in. We did one about 4 weeks ago. We collected 1.6 tons of garbage from the Grant Park area.
Wow.
Let's get involved. Let's increase our leverage by serving people. Let's be involved with these young people. Let's be examples to the young men and young women, and let's see our communities turn around.
And see, what he said was very important, and I know we got a call. What he said was very important. We have to be examples. I'm going to tell you something. Kids learn from their parents. I heard somebody on the other show talking about, prejudice is taught. You ain't got to teach a kid prejudice. They watch you. If you saying the N word and you talking negative about black folks, and you're a white family, you ain't got to intentionally teach kids. They learn it by watching you, seeing how you react to the news, seeing how you react, seeing how you do, seeing what your response is. They are sitting back being little sponges.
Oh, yeah.
And they may know not to say it around you, but when they get around their friends and when they get around their equals and stuff, it comes back out because they have no fear. And they say to themselves, well, this is good. My daddy do it, my mama do it.
That's the way you do it.
And so that's how it comes. It goes from generation to generation through osmosis. I know that may be a big word to some of you
I don't know if I
folks,
can spell that.
but that's what happened when you watch and affected by things that surround you without intentionally having it touch you. Okay, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what's are you? Hello?
Deacon Adam.
Yes, sir.
Pastor Alfred.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson, man, I had to stop cutting my yard. Boy, Eddie, you need to write a book on how to raise kids and how to deal with issues with young adults.
Yes.
Man, everything you said. See, I'm from Imperial Polk County too. You from Lake Wells. I'm from the bottom in Lakeland. Okay, so we both from Polk County, born in Polk County, Imperial Polk County. You know what I'm talking about?
Sir.
So I'm a Polk County man too, but I was raised in Samuel City, Florida. But man, you hitting on all cylinders. You done hit everything that is incorrect. The pastor done said what he trying to do, and I'm gonna just say this, man. As far as a black woman on city council, they ain't gonna get there because they ain't now gonna want to really get up there and do anything. Because they don't realize you better know something about zoning. You better know something about wet zoning. You know something about land use. You better know something about some buildings. So that's basically what they do. Besides all that ceremonial stuff. But I'm gonna say this and close out and let you go. So you got to do your history in this.
There you go.
Right.
This day, whatever. But I just want to say, man, keep it real, keep it conservative, and keep it real, man. Because the show you doing right now, I just had to stop and say something, man. Because you hitting on all cylinders, and I just want to appreciate you keeping it out there. So y'all keep it real, man, and forget the naysayers. And as I call them, player haters go home and stop player hate, man. And stop trying to be in folks and get out here and do something real. All right, bro.
Thank you, Joe.
God bless.
Thank you, Joe. Joe's a great black man in this community.
Good man.
Great black man. All right. Okay. Since he called it out already, let me go ahead and do. Pastor Johnson, go ahead and give out your information, phone number, website, all that stuff again, and then I do on this day.
Again, Faith Action Ministry Alliance or Grant Park Christian Academy. You can get to our website, FAMalliance.org. That's FAMalliance with an F in the beginning, like Frank. FAMalliance, FAMalliance.org. Get with us, find out when our events are, find out how you can get involved. Go ahead and register. There's another button for volunteering. Make sure you press that button. Go ahead and register to volunteer and get signed up, all right? 813-773-3262. We're going to plug you in. You're going to get involved. You're going to change a bunch of lives. God bless you, folks.
And that's coming from a black pastor who understands how important it is to change the lives of kids while you can watch them grow up. You can watch a tree grow. And after a number of years, it's going to be taller than you, it's going to be bigger than you, and it's going to be around for another 100 years. The same thing with these kids. If you do the right thing for these kids, they're going to grow up, they're going to respect you, they're going to do good, and they're going to have good lives. But not if you let them do what they've been doing. All right, on this day, March 26th. Now let me start this on this day with something that I said last week. I know a lot of you guys missed it. So last week, I said in 1998, the World Health Organization, you guys know what I'm talking about, warned of a tuberculosis epidemic that could kill 70 million people in the next 2 decades. Now, what I'm telling you right now, I know you ain't heard. I said it to you last week. You didn't hear it. In 1998, they knew a pandemic was coming. They knew it was going to kill 70 million people. Have you heard the latest stats from the coronavirus? 70 million people. How did they know in 1998 that this thing was coming and it was going to kill 70 million people? I keep telling you people.
Couldn't have been planned.
I keep telling you people.
What a coincidence.
Just look around and listen and learn. Because if I say something and you doubt it, go look it up. Then that way you're involved. You're involved whether you want to be or not. Because you're going to learn some stuff that you didn't know. All right. On this day, March 26th, in 1804, the U.S. Congress ordered the removal of Indians east of the Mississippi to Louisiana. It wanted all the Indians east of the Mississippi to be west of the Mississippi. That's your government. I keep, I'm not. This is critical race theory. This is stuff white folks don't want you to know. Why did they want all the Indians west of the Mississippi River? They had a reason. And what they did, they made an order, and then they went to move in Indians from Florida and Georgia and the Carolinas, the Trail of Tears. So from time to time they changed their mind. They've ordered them all west and they ordered them all east. The government found value on the Indian lands and just simply said, okay, well, we want that land, let's move the Indian. It became easy. Black folks, listen, because they've done that to you several times. On this day, March 26, 1953, Dr. Jonas Salk announced a new vaccine that would prevent polio. If any of you guys remember, polio used to be deadly. You couldn't go to school unless you had your polio vaccine. I still got the mark on my arm.
Wow. Yeah. They used to work back then.
Damn it. They did. On this day, March 26, 1982, groundbreaking ceremonies was held in Washington, D.C. for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Gabriel.
All right, listen up. Trigger warning, microaggression, safe space, BS warriors whose opinion really doesn't matter all that much. Serious question, though, folks. If Zelensky is a good guy, who is the servant of the people, then how is he able to afford a $35 million mansion in Miami Beach on a Ukrainian public sector salary? He didn't get that wealthy off his acting days. By the way, Mr. Democracy did also shut down any opposing parties to his Mr. Democracy. So you keep sending money over there, folks. Yeah, he's got to get that second mansion lined up. You just keep on sending that money. He'll yeah. Meanwhile, Biden says to President Zelensky recently, Biden told him in a little meeting, Biden said, "I will do for Ukraine what I have done for America." Mr. Zelensky said, "That's what I'm afraid of."
Oh, wow.
So moving along here, as we keep it all happy, Fauci in the meantime says, if you follow the science, it leads to my bank account. Now also, the CDC did say that they deleted tens of thousands of deaths associated to COVID-19 from its database because it had a coding error. So they lied. They lied on the numbers of deaths really associated to COVID. That's from the CDC, by the way. Just thought you'd like to know that. Meanwhile, Disney announces they're upset with Governor DeSantis. And because they're upset with him canning that bill that teaches gay, lesbian, sex to children, ages 4, 5, and 6, Disney said they're going to include more content for gay, lesbian, sex for children in their movies. Isn't that awesome, folks? Meanwhile, NBC says, why is everybody worried about Disney? Don't worry about what they're doing. You got to move along. Just move along. Nothing to see here. Let's see. 20-week fetus question was asked of Mrs. Brown Jackson. And she was asked, can a fetus live 20 weeks out of the womb? 20 weeks, can it live out of that? And she said, I don't know. I'm not a biologist. Meanwhile, sanctions were told that were going to deter Russia. Biden just told us 2 days ago, sanctions never deter at all. Even though he and all of his top people spent the last month saying, oh, it's going to deter. Except when he says it doesn't. So you keep moving along, folks. We got so many jokes, so many. I got to end up with this last one, Eddie. This is from Leah Thomas, the guy, the the swimmer. Says, I was talking to a reporter. I had a shot at breaking another woman's record, but my left testicle popped out of my suit, and it really slowed me down a lot. There you go. Woo! Nothing like a sham.
Well, I gotta say, one thing I want everybody to look at and watch, because Russia is showing you how Europeans and other folks have fought wars for the last 1,000 years. We the only folks who say there's rules to and there's a correct way to kill other people.
Geneva Convention, yeah.
I'm just saying, it's because America, the only one get caught up with this.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Russians bomb with a missile a bus that had women and children fleeing a city. They shot a missile at the bus. I'm just telling you. They got apartment complex. They got hospitals that they are bombing from the air. I'm telling you, people, look at what's going on.
That's old school war, Eddie.
I'm just saying, CC, they ain't saying, well, you shouldn't do that because that's not right, and those people are being hurt, and those people are being harmed. They are starving those folks. They got 100 million people that, well, not 100 million, you got 100,000 people that have fled, and they're talking about bringing 100,000 of them folks to the U.S. Why in the hell did we get to be the person? Because last couple of months it was, Afghanistan. They was on a big old airplane all coming over here. Now they got 100,000, these guys coming over here. Why don't you just go over there if you're going to be the police of the world and stop the damn war? Hell, they don't want to fight us in no World War III. See, that's what you don't understand. You don't understand bully mentality. Only way to stop a bully from bullying you, if you are smaller than they are, to hit them in their mouth. You may have to jump up to do it.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, that person will look at you differently if you jump up and slap the hell out of them or hit them in their mouth. Everybody, you just being mean. No, I'm not being mean. I'm telling you what it was. I was a short black man coming up. And I guarantee you, once I showed people that I would fight, I stopped having to fight. Because the word got out, he'll fight, you fight, oh yeah, he'll fight, because I couldn't go home and tell my mama somebody beat my butt.
Mm-hmm.
What do? I cried. Well, shit, I got another whooping.
Yeah, absolutely. I had that talk with my boy. Same talk with my boy. He came home kind of messed up. What happened? Well, his boy went, I'll beat you again. You better go. You know what? Next time he fought back, he gave a good punch. Woo!
You might
Threw the other out his chair.
You
Wow.
might lose the fight, but what you gain is called respect.
Ooh.
Sometimes that is much more valuable because you would have lived your whole life getting beat up and getting picked on. Hell, girls would have picked on you because you small. See, because of your size,
I was a player back then. I get all them girls.
they
my
just
size.
assume that you was an easy target.
Yeah, pretty much.
And across the world, we got a lot of dictators and
They don't know any different.
a lot of aggressive people
Yeah.
who don't have anybody around that's gonna tell them no, gonna let them do everything, like Putin right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I tell you what, if Biden had the nerve,
Yeah, you don't got that.
he'll send a force over there. They ain't got to set foot on the ground,
Mm-hmm. You're right.
but they can hurt them enough to make
From
them
the air.
think bad about it and let them think about World War III.
Yeah.
See, it's a thought, it's a process. All right, so I've been giving the go sign here.
Woo!
So until next week when we do this again, Pastor, you want to give them the information one more time for sure go
Good stuff, good program. Again, Faith Action Ministry Alliance or Grant Park Christian Academy. Get with us at FAMalliance.org. FAMalliance.org. Go into the events, find out what we're doing, get involved. Press the next tab for volunteering. Give us your information so you can get involved. We'll know that you're wanting to do something special. Get with us, everyone. Phone number again, 813-773-3262, and let us know what you want to do.
All right, until next week, Tampa Bay, we love you.
God bless America.
Bye-bye.